Ambassador Gordon Sondland testified before Congress in a closed hearing just a few weeks ago, on October 17th to be exact. And now we're learning through reporting at the Wall Street Journal that he did in fact confirm that there was quid pro quo, that Donald Trump's conversation with Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, did involve quid pro quo. So let me give you the details from the Journal, Wall Street Journal. Gordon Sondland, the US ambassador to the European Union, told House committees that he believed Ukraine agreeing to open investigations into Burisma Group and into alleged 2016 election interference was a condition for a White House meeting between Mr. Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. So let's pause right there. Remember, William Taylor, who is also a US ambassador, did confirm that he believed that Donald Trump was engaging in quid pro quo. Now, there was some indication based on text messages between Taylor and Sondland that Sondland disagreed, that Sondland did not see it as quid pro quo. However, based on what he said during his testimony before congressional lawmakers, he did believe that there was quid pro quo. So asked by a lawmaker whether that arrangement was a quid pro quo, Mr. Sondland cautioned that he wasn't a lawyer, but said he believed the answer was yes.
All right, that's not gonna help Donald Trump at all. 3 reasons why it totally gets rid of the text where he says, hey, now remember, the president has been clear that it's not a quid pro quo. He testified, this we knew earlier, he testified that, yeah, the president made me write that. Okay, now we're finding out, yeah, I actually thought it was a quid pro quo. Okay, second reason why it's damaging is it's a corroborating witness to Ambassador Taylor. So that is 2 people that were involved in this whole affair going, yeah, we were holding up military aid so that Donald Trump could gain politically, not so that we could help the country. That is devastating.
It is devastating.
And the third part of it is that he's a Donald Trump supporter. He gave over $1 million to Donald Trump's, I believe, inauguration. And so, and he runs hotels, he's a rich Republican businessman and a Trump ally, a clear Trump ally, turning on him and saying it was quid pro quo. Not turning on him in the sense of like betraying him or anything, just saying, well, that's what he said. So I'm under oath, I'm gonna tell you what he said. And it was that we were supposed to hold up the aid so that Donald Trump could get dirt on his political opponents.
So Donald Trump is definitely feeling the squeeze. The walls are closing in on him, and nothing made that clearer than his recent episode of Chopper Talk. And here he is talking to reporters with a loud helicopter in the background.
The conversation was perfect. They don't ever talk about the conversation. It started with a whistleblower. Now they don't want the whistleblower. Then they had a second whistleblower. Now they don't want the second whistleblower. The reason is that when they saw what the whistleblower wrote, and then when I released the conversation, which bore no relationship to what the whistleblower saw, they said their case was out the window. They tried to take that conversation and make it into a big scandal. The problem was we had it transcribed. It was an exact transcription of the conversation.
Nobody talks about the conversation, except everyone's talking about the conversation. That's the whole point. He's so obsessed with the whistleblowers. The whistleblower, I mean, look, that's what initiated all of this, but who cares about the whistleblower at this point? You released the conversation. He still thinks that conversation was a good one. No, the conversation is a disaster, and they keep latching onto this ridiculous talking point, like, oh, this is all hearsay, it's just hearsay, 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 hearsay. No, it's not hearsay at this point, right? Because it's not about the whistleblower anymore. It's about the conversation or the notes of the conversation that you yourself released, which is incredibly incriminating. And then it's also about members of your own administration testifying against you, okay? The EU ambassador and the US ambassador, Bill Taylor. I mean, it's amazing to me. This guy is out of control.
So he looked more like Biff in that little exchange than he normally does. But it's the character out of Back to the Future that was actually based on him, literally based on him. And he's like, it was a perfect conversation. Okay, so he says, it was the exact transcript. No, it wasn't. The exact transcript is buried in a secret server at the White House. If you'd like to release the exact transcript, we would love that.
Jake, the exact transcript, it's worse. Like, that's what's amazing. Like, what he released is bad enough. But apparently what's being kept in that secret server is way worse.
That's right. And so that's why he, in his stupid mind, he thinks, one, you need quid pro quo for a crime. You don't. All you have to do is solicit help from a foreign country in your political campaign. And the transcript version that you released admits that 100%. So I'm gonna, and then probably in the portion that they hid, you have the quid pro quo part, but that's why he keeps calling it perfect, because he thinks he hid the bad part. He's like, it was a perfect conversation where I only admitted one crime and not two.
Oh my God,
perfect.
Why is he so dumb?
He is, he's unbelievable. But the other part that I love is this whole talk of hearsay. Are you surprised that Donald Trump doesn't really know what that means?
I know.
Right, but it's all the Republicans are using this stupid talking point. They're like, this Ambassador Talon and the Sondland guy, they heard it and then they said it, so it's hearsay.
Oh my God.
No, that's not hearsay. When a witness says, I heard him admit the crime, that is excellent evidence that you committed the crime. So he's like, well, they heard it from someone else. No, they heard it from you. They heard it from you. And they didn't get it relayed by someone. The whistleblower heard it from someone else. But as Anna pointed out, you don't need the whistleblower anymore, because now we have half a dozen witnesses who heard it with their own human ears from Donald Trump and have already testified to that. That's the second crime, the quid pro quo. But once that's revealed, by the way, and even if they put out the full transcript and all these guys have already testified, yes, but it was a perfect quid pro quo. Like, he just doesn't get it.
No.
It doesn't matter what he does. And last thing, when I say, why does he keep saying perfect? What a weird thing to say about any conversation. I'm not sure I've ever had a perfect conversation. Have you? What makes it perfect?
I've probably had a few perfect conversations.
Yeah, maybe the one against Tommy Lauren. Okay, anyway, no, he's saying it because he's thinking, I asked him for the favor, but I hid it perfectly. Because he thinks he's so clever. That's why he keeps calling it perfect.
Wrong.
It was perfect. I didn't technically say the word quid pro quo. I just said we'll hold up the aid and you do me a favor by going after my opponent, Joe Biden. It was perfectly concealed. That's not true at all either, but that's why he's using the word perfect. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.